Okay, hello everybody. I have decided to make this second video on tins because it has this different unit, and this is the unit that we have right now, and I might make a third one on a bigger unit when I get an opportunity, but this will help you prepare for your video that I want you to make for tins. It's really important that you understand how tins works and feel comfortable with turning the machines on. So first, I want you to review the protocol and information that I gave you on tins. You should have a working knowledge of the gate control theory and should understand the difference between modulated tins and normal tins. And we talked about that. It's in your chapter. It's also in, basically we talked about accommodation and how that it will make a difference to change the modes of tins so that you won't get in the situation where your brain is not is registering on the pain and the tins unit isn't blocking that pain. Remember, tins is different than muscle stimulation, as tins is used only as pain control, and the belief that you can block those signals to the brain so that you can feel the noxious stimulus of the pain less. So it really fools the brain into thinking that I'm going to register my thoughts on those vibrations that this little machine is producing, as opposed to the pain that's being produced because of the injury or what they're healing up from. Also, don't forget that there are other things other than just the gate control. There, the endorphin enkephalin theory that says that if you stimulate these nerves, that you can get a enkephalin endorphin, kind of like a runner's high, opioid type of response, which is also a pain blocker as well. So, just to familiarize you with this unit, you've got the battery on one side. It's got a new battery, but if it ceased to work, there's another battery inside. You're going to need something to cause a little bit of a noxious stimuli. I'm going to use this little soldering stand, and this is what I would like you to do in your video. The contraindications: cardiac demand, pacemaker, please be aware of that. Epilepsy, anything that would cause concern by a physician that this small little electrical impulse might cause issues. Review the contraindications in the protocol, and they're also in the textbook, but those are the two main ones I want you to mention. And mention in your video your explanation of how you'd explain the gate control theory. And I just did that at the beginning, so it can be as simple or as complex as you want to. So on the back side of this unit, it slides open, okay? So we're going to slide it open, and we'll make sure that it's set. We have the pulse width and the pulse rate. So remember, I'm a big believer in defaults, so I have it set in between that bracket of 60 and 100, and over here the range is 80 to 125. I'm going to put it right in the middle at about 100, and then we're going to put this over here in normal. So normal tins, I don't know if you can focus on that, but it's over here in normal. This is in the bracketed defaults, okay? Modulated tins has a computer program that changes the width and the rate on a pre-programmed amount. It changes the waveform so that you don't accommodate. So in this case, this has normal. The SD is a program, burst is another program, MW, CM, and MR. These are all pre-programmed modulated tins. So as you first set it up for normal tins, then you can switch around and go into the burst. And whenever you switch from normal to any other setting here, make sure you turn your intensity down because it might be a little bit different between each setting. So you always want to turn it down, then turn it back up. Okay, so you've got your electrodes, and it's plugged into channel 1. We only have one set of electrode leads wires, so we can't do 2 channels, so we're only going to be doing 1 channel. So again, you want to expose the area where you have pain. You would mark it, and then you would put your I've already got them attached, so they're attached here. So I'll take these off, and we're going to leave about 1 inch between. In my case, just because there's less hair on the arm on this side, I'm going to put it right here. I hope you can see this, because I can't see the camera. So I'm going to move around a little bit. It looks like you should be able to see it. All right, and we're going to turn channel 1 on. Not that's happening yet, but you can see that it is making a green flashing light there. So I don't feel anything. We're going to increase the intensity. I'm turning it up from 0 to 10. Turning it up, and now I feel this like kind of a connection between the 2 electrodes. Okay, so then when you get it, in my case I went all the way to 30, and take this little, you can take a tip of a pen or a paper clip, or this works perfectly, and just feel the difference between what it feels like inside and outside. Don't know if you can see that. I'm assuming you can. And it will, the feeling in the inside is definitely going to be less. Okay, so just a couple inside and outside, and that's what you try to bracket the pain with 10s. So you could have channel 1 here and channel 2 here, and then you could really get the double effect, but we only have the 1 lead wire, so we're going to do it with just a single effect. So now that's pretty much it, except that I want you to experience what the modulated 10s feels like. So now you're going to decrease your intensity. Here's number 1, and we're going to make sure we turn it off. You don't have to turn it all the way off. You don't have to click it off. You just turn it till you can't feel anything. And then we're going to make this switch from norm right here. I'm going to click it over to, well, we're going to do burst first, because that's a nice, I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can. Burst. And again, same thing. Turn on channel 1. It's already on. You're just going to intensify it until you start to feel the 2 electrodes. And it feels sort of like a heartbeat. And here you can see my arm here kind of pulsing there, because it's right on that muscle. I don't know if you can see that or not. Look closely. Look at my finger. Interesting. Look at that finger. Hello. So probably a little too much, because that would wear that muscle out, so we're going to have to decrease it. So I'm going to decrease it a bit. One hand. Different areas, like if you can still see that my finger's slightly pulsing. It depends on, you know, like your position. Like if you flex different position, it does more. And if it might be directly on that motor endpoint, so you know I can overcome it, but you don't really want it that far. So you could change positions a little bit if you're getting a contraction that you don't want. All right, I'm gonna turn it back down. Not off though. I'm gonna switch it to SD, which is this backwards. SD. turn it up again. Channel 1. And that feels a lot different. Now I am on about, again, 30 seems to be my number. Now I'm going to turn it down a little bit. I don't have to turn it all the way down. Go through all the other ones. Now I'm past burst. You got to go left to MW. You got to turn the knob to the left to go down to MW mode. It's a modulated mode. Turn it back up. And again, it's just changing the vibration. This is kind of a more of a sharper effect. And it's actually getting I must be right on the nerve because that finger keeps coming down. So you'd have to be careful to move that around. You don't want to get a contraction with tens. And then back to the left again. Now I'm in MR mode. See what that feels like. And again, it's just a pulsation. MR mode. I'm still at about 30. That one feels pretty good. And then the last one is turn it down. And this is CM. Just different rates and CM. So again, the modulated tens should be not strong enough to cause a contraction, but by switching the different waveforms, it basically allows you to prevent or reduce accommodation. All right, I hope this helps. Enjoy.